3, 2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Open Bar Review at Riprock's. Crazy Horse Paul Wedding here. With me, as always, is Leopold Knopp. And this week we'll be reviewing A Monster Calls. Knopp, tell us all about it.
Thank you. A Monster Calls is about, God damn it, about a little kid named Connor O'Malley.
Just give me a couple.
Let me fucking eat, man. His mother, played by Felicity Jones, has cancer and she's dying, which means he's going to have to move in with his awful grandmother, played by Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
His absentee father, who went to America and started a new family, is back, and he's a prick. He's bullied at school, he's under all this stress, and so a tree monster, played by Liam Neeson, comes to him, and he's like, "Hey, Connor O'Malley, fuck you." And he's like, "I will return every night hence, and I will tell you 3 stories, and on the 4th night, you will tell me your nightmare."
Yeah.
And everyone in the audience ugly cried.
Yeah, man. Like, I came into this movie not expecting a whole lot, but I walked out and I'm pretty sure this is the best kids movie of the entire year.
It's technically a 2016 movie because fuck you.
It's got like lessons that you don't see in kid movies. Like, it's not the usual bullshit, just moral that you heard from your parents. It's like, yeah, there's like people are morally gray, like, and there's there's some shit that's just gonna happen that you got to deal with.
Like, the main lesson in this movie is people are awful and you're powerless. Started out the movie thinking he's just a little kid. He's sad because his mother's dying. As the movie develops, he turns into this really weird character who I don't like very much. Or certainly not as much as when I started the film. Like, when we get to the part about how he likes being bullied because people are paying attention to him. This kid's got some darkness.
Yeah, to say the least, yeah.
I was really excited about this movie ever since I saw the first trailer because the cast is great and I loved the art.
The tree monster's telling his dreams. They switch to this sort of animated form, which is told through the watercolor art. It's beautiful the way they tell those stories.
It's like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the 3 brothers story.
I never saw those, actually.
God, those were the best ones. People got tired of the Harry Potter movies at the exact wrong time. It's live action with a CGI tree monster.
Yeah.
And then it just drops into this entirely watercolor sequence. And it's so abstract and weird and because it's like a 4-minute short. So the artwork is just completely different. It's entirely specific to that process, to that story. And they create something really unique and beautiful every time. Sigourney Weaver is fucking amazing in this movie.
She's very good as like the bitchy grandmother, but you can like see why she is the way she is. There's no purely like evil person in this movie, and that's a big factor of why I liked it, of course.
The bully was a fucking prick.
Yeah, the third story is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
That made me kind of mad, actually.
Really?
Because we got gypped out of a third animation sequence.
Yeah, that did piss me off a little bit.
The third story is where he finally beats the shit out of this bully. The monster shows up and he starts telling a story about an invisible man, which relates to something the bully just said. And then he runs toward the bully, and then smash cuts away to the principal's office because you don't get to see him getting beaten up.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to him beating him up. But I was so happy he was finally gonna beat this dude up, and it cut away, and I go, what? It was good to see him finally. Like, during the second story, when they were hinting that he would trash the room, I was like, yeah, trash that fucking room, man.
Yeah.
You fucking do it. And then Sigourney Weaver comes in, and she has, like, this whole 2-minute scene with no dialogue and expresses like a million different emotions.
It's fantastic. I was like tense up through the whole sequence.
So this is a super duper emotional movie.
Oh yeah.
When did you start crying?
I probably started crying like right after the third dream, like when he first gets taken to the hospital when they tell him like, hey, something's wrong with your mom, you gotta talk to her or whatever. Like
when it's clear that his mom's gonna
when he's
die.
giving her the speech and she's like, if you need to break things and Guy Bot, you break them. That was.
You see, I thought
when
that was
started
kind
tearing
of. Sorry, I thought that was kind of a cheesy Oscar moment type.
up. A little bit. I don't know. Just with the development of the story throughout, it kind of worked for me still.
I started crying when Sigourney Weaver was driving him to the hospital.
Yeah, and she's like, we're not a perfect fit, are we?
His mom's like gonna die in the next few minutes. He just trashed her room full of like a lifetime's worth of antiques.
Like thousands of dollars worth of antiques.
And far more than that in sentiment. And like, he literally destroyed her entire life.
Yeah.
And they just didn't talk about it. And so this is their first scene together after like an hour later in movie time. And she's driving like a bat out of hell, and they have to stop at train track. They just stop and they still don't talk about it. And he starts to talk about it and she's like, no, we just gotta get you to your mother. And that's when I started to cry.
I felt it was really contrived showing in the mother's sketchbook and seeing the sketches from the animations and seeing the tree monster. I didn't think of this as like a fantasy movie. I thought of it as like this kid having this mental projection that's helping him get through this awful time that he's having. But at the end, it's very heavily implied that there's like actual magic at work. And that kind of took me away from the experience of the movie.
I didn't get that at all. They have those two photos of Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he's the granddad.
Yeah, he's the granddad. So it's heavily implied that the monster is the granddad.
Yeah.
And they had that line at the beginning where even your grandma calmed down when your granddad was around. It's kind of just sewn in there. His mother came up with the tree monster initially, and that his voice and actions were influenced by his memories of his grandfather. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's making it all up. Kind of adds to it, actually.
That he's making things up that are exactly the same as his mother.
Well, that's where he got the ideas. Is he saw his mother's sketchbook and he remembered his grandpa.
I could certainly see that interpretation. All right, last call, Knopp. How many beers would you give to the director of this movie, J.A. Bayona?
The 5 beers, the maximum. This is a beautifully directed movie. It's well shot. The art direction is amazing. It made me and apparently everybody else who saw it like ugly cry.
I would also give J.A. Bayona 5 beers for the reasons you stated. I would consider the most important movie for children to see in 2016, I would say.
I wouldn't take my kid to see this movie.
I mean, maybe if he was under the age of 5.
It's a fucking sad movie. How many beers would you want to watch it again?
Probably a few. I feel like if I was a little buzzed for this, I'd probably cry even more watching this.
Yeah. I could deal with some beers to deal with the fucking horrible things that happen.
Yeah. All right. As always, Riprocks, Paul Wedding, Leopold Knopp, Monster Calls. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh. Oh, one more, please.
That's hot.